Hey guys, what's going on? So today I just wanted to share a couple ideas with you, a couple of things that came up last night when I was interviewing a potential client for our hyper-responsive list program. It's where what that's all about is just where I basically, if it's the right person, help people build their list, their most valuable asset by sharing mine. And there should be details about that below this video. But that's neither here nor there. The important thing is this. When I was having a conversation with this young man yesterday, man, I always love these conversations because it's an opportunity, first off, for me to kind of get to know where people are in their journey. And because of that, because I've had so many experiences and I've got a ton to share, and I got an update for you on that in just a moment. A lot of times I can really pinpoint where a person's having a block and what they need to do next, and that just excites me. And so, like what inevitably happens a lot of times is when I was having this discussion, we got really in depth. I started to dig into where he is, what he needs to do next, and he asked me a couple of questions. The most important of those questions was, do you think I can do it? Do you think I have what it takes? And to that, what I said to him was, well, I shared this experience first, is I said, back in 2006 or maybe 2007, I had a discussion, just like I'm having with you right now, with another student. And the question he asked me was, Daegan, when do I get to start creating my own stuff? And what I replied to him was, whenever you want. This is a business 100% of self-appointment. And so when you choose, then it shall be. And for that student, all it took was that. All he needed was permission to know that the world was his. Within a month, he had his first product. Within a year, he was doing about $1 million. Within the next year, he was doing $1 million launches, and each one got bigger than the next. And so what I said to him was, it's your choice. Absolutely you can. I've seen too many examples, and I have too much social proof over the years that anyone can change their life. Of course you can. And he took that to heart, and then this came out. And I don't know where it came from. It was just kind of a thought. I said to him, really, at the end of the day, it's about this. It's about if you can have more certainty, have less fear, and you can see a bigger future for your clients than they can, then you can create whatever you want in the world. You can influence anyone. And so it comes down to your level of certainty at the end of the day. And so how certain are you of what you want to create? And he said, oh man, this is really good stuff, Daegan. Thank you so much, man. Man. And then he kind of opened up a little bit and he said, oh yeah, is it scary? Like when you start making money, well, what's it like? And this is one of the points I really wanted to share with you here, which was, I said, yes, it is kind of weird. When I started to make more than $1,000 a day, personally, it kind of felt like, oh man, are they going to catch me? Did I rob a bank? You start to feel weird, like what's normal compared to what you're actually doing. It starts to change. And then what I said to him was, for me, when I started, what I would say to myself all the time was, I'm going to become a millionaire by helping people to become financially independent. And I always wondered what it would be like, to be a millionaire. And I said to him, I said, you know what, man? You want to know how I found out, how I discovered that I was a millionaire? Literally, it was just an off day. And for whatever reason, I started to just run the numbers. And I wanted to see just how much money I had. And I went into all my accounts, and when I added them up, I had more than $1 million. And so it was strange in that I didn't even realize it until I added up the numbers, and I said, well, heck, here I am. But then when that happened, it was like a non-event. It was like, well, I'm still me. Now I had changed from the person I was originally, of course. I'm not the same person I was 9 years ago. But I was always so curious about that moment. What does it feel like when you get there? And it feels normal. It feels just like it should be. And so I think that's what it's going to be like for you. And in saying that, one of the biggest hurdles, and one of the things that comes up almost every time I speak with a potential client, is the hurdle of information overload. When we have, and it happens to me just as much as everyone else, when there's so much information to be had, the reality is it's not about getting it all in. It's about choosing what's vitally essential and what isn't, and getting rid of the rest. And ultimately, when I find myself locked up and I'm confused and I don't know what to do, it's because of one thing that I was reminded of this morning. And let me show you. So this morning, I decided for whatever reason to pick up this book. And I've always been a fan of Star Trek, and I've always been kind of a philosophical thinker. I always like to ponder on questions, on meaning, and, what is it all about? And so I started reading this again. I think I got this back in college. And in the first couple of pages, it said, it went into an example of, what does it mean to be human, right? Data's an android, and this book's called Is Data Human? What does it mean to be human? And it brought up an example from the first series of Star Trek where Captain Kirk, something happened, he got split into his two halves, the emotional half and the intellectual half. And it was a very, philosophical, or whatever we want to call it, example in that the side of him that was highly, highly emotional, it went off and tried to do very bad things. It was purely fueled by impulse. Whatever in the moment he felt to do, that's what he did. And he attempted to rape someone, one of the women on his ship. On the other hand, his intellect seemed normal, but was completely indecisive, right? Couldn't choose what to do. And that's when it kind of dawned on me, and that's when not that I didn't know this before, but sometimes we need to be reminded in several different ways. It's that when we get too into our own heads about options and possibilities and what could be, it of course becomes confusing. Of course we can't figure every freaking thing out. But the thing that brings clarity to that is this. It lets us choose our path. And so I know this is true for me, so maybe it's true for you. And some of the things that you're attempting to do in your business, are you too much up here and not enough down here? Because if you are, maybe now you've got a little insight on what to do. It's go with your gut. What does it feel? What's the best? What feels right to you? That's what you got to do in those moments. It's not that there's information that's missing that you need. Most of the time, in rare cases it might be, but most of the time it's that there's too much information and you're trying to work totally here and you're not paying attention to the other part of you. Now, just like Captain Kirk, you get run by the emotions and things might not go right. You try to go the other way and you don't go anywhere. And so you got to bring them together. And so those are the two things I really wanted to share with you, is just my experience of when I found out that I was a millionaire and how to really overcome indecision. But with that, now that I'm getting back into the swing of things here, what I want to do, and let's see how this goes, is I want to set up something, let's see, maybe today, where we can get together and we can talk about things, and maybe I can help and give you insight and answers on things that are slowing you down in your business. And so, hopefully, if I've done my stuff right here today, you'll see a link to a question, to a questionnaire. Click it, fill it out, and what I want to see if I can get into the pattern and the habit of doing on a daily basis, and this is, it's a huge, huge goal. I'm excited about it, though, is for the questions that you send to me, that we take some private time on a daily basis, get together, and I take one of those questions And if the person that's asked that question is available, maybe I bring them on live and we just dig into it. So what I want to experiment, what I want to do potentially today, tonight, this afternoon, is dig into one of those questions with you. So if you've got something you're trying to overcome, a goal you want to get to, or something you don't know that you don't know, or just something that's slowing you down, let me know. What's your biggest challenge? And then I'll look at them. And later on today, what I'll do is I'll send an email and I'll say, here's the question of the day. Here's the time we're going to chill out, show up, and let's have some fun. So that's it. That's the message for the day. Feedback and all that sort of good stuff. Of course, I love it. Let me have it. Thrive on it. And yeah, updates are coming later. All right, guys.